Thanks for checking out this movie review video. This is for the 2022 film Sissy. It's a Shudder original and it's coming to Shudder on Thursday, September 29th. So this is a no spoiler review. This is a different film. There were a lot of interesting risks that I think the filmmaker took, and I think that it actually paid off. So I am definitely recommending this film. Um, yeah, I was watching it and just didn't know what I was getting myself into as it started because it has a very odd start. But let me backtrack a little bit. I'll talk about that in a second. Written and directed by Hannah Barlow, who also did For Now, as well as Kane Senes, who also did For Now and did Echoes of War. This is an Australian film, just so people know. You will hear an Australian accent. It was shot in Australia, it looks like. So just knowing what your setting will be like and what the accents will be like and everything like that. So once again, coming to Shudder on Thursday, September 29th. Quick synopsis. It's basically about a girl named Cecilia who, when she was young, went by Sissy, but has since decided she doesn't want that nickname ascribed to her. And she had a very big, close friendship with this other woman named Emma. Well, girl at the time, obviously, but as they've grown up, they've obviously grown apart. They haven't seen each other in a while, and one day at a store, they run into each other, and Sissy is a very different person. Emma seems to be kind of the same person, and she wants to hang out, and you can tell that Sissy's kind of apprehensive about it, but she convinces her to go with her and a bunch of her friends to this kind of getaway where it's like a girls weekend only type ordeal. And she gets there and things start to go wrong, and it's a horror film, so just let your mind wander. But actually, better than that, just watch the film when it hits Shudder, because I do recommend it. Not going to give you more synopsis wise because I don't want to spoil anything. The style of filming and music in the beginning of this makes you believe this is not going to be a serious film. It kind of is, though, to a degree. It kind of walks this interesting line of like feeling like parody, feeling like a bit of like a dark comedy, but also feeling like it's very real and very true to life in a lot of other ways because it deals with a lot of kind of societal stuff in it. So it's real interesting. It's a real mix of things. It's like a lot of stuff thrown into a blender, but it comes out as a pretty good smoothie, I will say. Um, does that work? Yeah. There's even a Disney princess style title in the beginning. There is a Disney princess style title screen, like written in glitter, and I was like, what is this film? Like, that was my thing. I'm like, what is this? And what is it going to be? And truly, the way the film's set up, it's so like light and fun. And I was getting into it. Like, I was feeling how light and fun the film was. It has that atmosphere. It's shot that way. It's very warm. The characters are very bubbly and warm, too. And you're just like, how is this going to end up being a horror film? Like, you can't see it going there. But it inevitably goes there. But when it does finally get to that point, you're still kind of like, it's light and fun to a degree, which is such a weird thing. But it's not like overtly a horror comedy. There are humorous moments to it that I think really do work within the context of the film. But it's just, yeah, it's unique. It's its own thing. It is totally its own thing. And this is why I'm saying that there were a lot of risks that were taken by the filmmakers that really could have not panned out. But I think the way they pulled them off, surprisingly, they really did work. So I guess you can kind of call that genius in a way. Like, if it didn't come out, you would just be like, that was a stupid idea. Why would you make these poor choices? But since they executed it the way they did, it's a little genius, in my opinion, what they were able to do. Now, I'm not saying that this is like a 5-star film for me because, I'm not easy on my star ratings. So I'll tell you at the end what I'm giving this one. There are some shots that are extreme close-ups when characters are talking. It's very uncomfortable. This is just in the beginning of the film. It's super uncomfortable. Like, when the camera gets way too close to someone's face, like, let me give you an example. If I'm talking to you like this, do you feel uncomfortable? Yeah. It's like that. There's a little bit of that, and it's like a back and forth in the beginning of the film. And it makes me recoil. Like, I literally back up from my screen. Like, that's my natural reaction to something like that. So I don't like it, but it was the point. And this speaks to the type of directing and cinematography at play here. Is it's trying to evoke some sort of feeling out of you, which is discomfort, because that's what's going on in that scene. There is discomfort. It's very awkward. So the filmmaker made a smart choice to make you, the viewer, feel uncomfortable and awkward as well. So I love that. Like, I always love when a filmmaker makes me feel something I don't want to feel. That means they're doing a great job, whether it's the way they do it from a camera perspective or if it has to do with the scripting, which I think both things are strong in this film. Again, hard to see how this is going to turn into a horror film, but it does. And there is a pretty clear marker. I think it's about the 20-minute mark, according to my notes, is where there's an image of something paired with music that tells you, yes, stick with us, horror is coming. And it's a very clear message. You will know when that hits, for sure. About 30 minutes in, something happens that starts to make you question what's actually going on here. It's, like I said, it's hard to see where things are going to go and how they're going to become horror early on. But you are looking at the film through a certain perspective. And about 30 minutes into it, there's a little something that happens where you're kind of like, am I going to be able to stick with that perspective? Can I trust this perspective? What is really happening here? Which I love those types of things because that throws things up in the air. Like, it takes whatever train of thought you had as far as trying to project what's going to happen within the film and just kind of throws it out the window. It makes you surrender to a degree to the mystery of the film just to find out where it's going. There are a lot of annoying human interaction things that this covers that I think people will really be able to relate to. I'm not saying it's annoying in the sense of how the film does it. Oh, it's annoying from a film perspective. It's intentionally done that way because it's true to life with how people are. So I think people will really connect with this film in a lot of ways for that reason. There's a lot of like societal things at play here that people will just be like, yep. And it's good. Like, it's those types of things that draw people into a film even more and makes it feel more personal. It makes them immerse themselves more, and it did for me. About 50 minutes into the film is when there's a big time escalation. So it takes a little bit of its time. I do believe maybe this film could have been shaved down a little bit because it's like an hour and 40 minutes. Excuse me, sorry about that. It's like an hour, I think it's an hour and 41 minutes with credits. So it could have been shaved down a little bit. The pacing does suffer slightly, but not too bad. Not too bad at all. About 1 hour and 10 minutes in, sorry for all the time markers. About 1 hour and 10 minutes in, there's a great kill that also plays a little bit funny. That's the thing. That's like still maintaining the light feeling, this playfulness to the film, the fun of it. And Gorehounds, you guys are going to love this one. It's probably one of the most enjoyable kills I've seen in a bit, especially because they made it feel like kind of light and fun. Really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that. So again, that's like the hour and 10 minute mark. You'll know what I'm talking about when you get to it. Definitely good humor, like I said. There's a good twist to the end of the film, which I'm always a fan of a good twist, like I'm sure most everyone is. So they executed it quite well as well. The audience is put in a very interesting position. Just think of this film from another perspective, and it's been done to death. But the fact that it's from the particular perspective that was chosen by the filmmakers, it seems new and fresh, in my opinion. But do that mental exercise. When you're done with the film, just think about the perspective that's at play here, switch it. Have a perspective of someone else within the film and be like, that plays totally differently, and it's a totally different film in that sense, even though it's the exact same events. It's very interesting. So this, they took a lot of risks. This deals very heavily in insecurity and low self-esteem, just to name one thing. There's a lot at play here. There's a very good point about mental health and how hard it is for people to deal with that while receiving judgment from people around them and just society in general. I know about that personally. I know a lot of people who know about that personally. I think that's another one of those things that people can really relate to within the film. There was also a play on the idea of a public you and a private you, as well as an online you and a private you, and the lines that get blurred with those things. Very smart kind of commentary on a bunch of that stuff. Have to put a shout out to Aisha D, who was the character of Sissy, Cecilia. She did a phenomenal job. She kind of demanding role, and she brought a lot of delight to that role, and I really enjoyed what she did. And I also want to say, it bears repeating, Hannah Barlow and Kane Senes. I hope I said the name right. Senes. Excellent job with the directing and all the chances you took, really. I mean, like bold choices that could have gone so wrong at so many times within this film, but man, it did pay off. So initially I was thinking this film fits at like a 3.5 star, but I think I have to bump it to a 4-star rating. And it's weird because it is a very, like, it's definitely a low budget film and you can tell that, but it has overcome so much from what you see, and it's so unique that I feel like it's got to get that extra half star. Like, I'm pretty surprised by what was pulled off here and how much I enjoyed it. And I hope that a lot of other people do. So I'm going 4 stars on this. You may not agree with that. That's fine. And you can tell me in the comments. But, and by the way, leave comments, and we could talk spoilers in the comments. Let's do that. So don't just tell me, though, I like it, I didn't like it. Give me like a sentence or two kind of explaining it, and we'll get nerdy. We'll talk about it. But thanks for checking this out. Do me a quick favor. Hit subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I greatly appreciate it. Keeps me motivated to keep doing all these videos I'm doing. And it's quick, painless, costs you no money. So why not subscribe? Please. And then hit the notification bell button, because then you'll know when I'm putting up new videos, which I'm doing at least 4 a week at this point, which I think is a good amount. I'm putting in work. Regardless, though, thanks for taking your time to watch this particular video. And until next time, keep it brutal.